My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Soulivity Live. Hey, my sister, how are you?
It's wine, right? Yeah. we might need some more wine for this.
So let's get this party started, y'all. Hey, my sister, mademoiselle.
That is the most amazing introduction I have ever heard.
Oh. Of myself and Madison, Brian Wesley Johnson. Thank you for joining us on Saturday morning. You a life full of passion, purpose, and high quality living. See you next time. Bye. Hello and welcome to another edition of Soulivity Live, everyone. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I'm so glad you joined us because once again, you picked the perfect moment to get inspired. We have another fantastic show. I mean, it's going to be awesome. We have intuitive life coach and author Kelly T. Smith in the house for today. You see, for this entire month, we will be featuring amazing and powerful women in honor of International Women's Day and Women's History Month. In fact, I want to remind you about our next Truth and Power event. It's going to be celebrating women around the world. We will be featuring some incredible women, including the CEO of womensworking.com, Helen Lerner, the creative director for Beyond Words Publishing, Michelle Astianti-Cohn, actress and human rights activist Jay Taylor, and powerhouse entrepreneur and philanthropist Daniela Coffey. And of course, it's going to be moderated by our own Candace Harper, the love coach from Soulivity TV's Ask for Candy. Now, you can get more information about all this, including even seeing some of our other videos, by going to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe while you're there and you'll get notifications every time that we go live. So let's get to today's show, shall we? My guest today is mind, body, and wellness practitioner, Kelly T. Smith. She is an expert in a variety of holistic healing modalities, NLP, holistic nutrition, past life regression therapy, homeopathic remedies, essential oils, and energy healing. These are just a few of the support she offers people from around the world. You see, her mission in life is to help you realize your fullest potential, to help you find your hidden gifts, and to get you to break free from limiting beliefs that keep your true self hidden. So let's get to it. With that, it is my pleasure to welcome Kelly T. Smith to Soulivity Live. Hey, Kelly, welcome to Soulivity Live.
Hi, Brian. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, man, I'm so happy you're here, too. I've been looking forward to this interview since we did the New Year, New You celebration back in December. You were awesome, of course. Everybody go watch Kelly and Candy have this great conversation if you can. And remember, everybody, we love your questions. Anything that you want to comment about, if you have a question, please just post to our live chats and we'll get to them as soon as we can. Kelly, my first question, you're this incredible intuitive life coach. I mean, you have these powerful cards out. I'm going to show everybody the cards real quick. Intuitive life coaching oracle cards by you. They're available at Beyond Words. What does it mean for you? What does it mean to be intuitive?
So, that's a good question. And the reason why I call myself intuitive instead of psychic, because let's say it can all be kind of like similar, but the word intuitive is supposed to mean, an instant knowing. Your intuition is something that you just know that you know, but you don't know why. But I call myself an intuitive life coach, even though I'm also, very spiritual and very aware of other things as far as my spiritual gifts, because I never want it to seem like I'm trying to be in control, right? I never want to feel like, not to say that word psychic means that you're in control, because that's not true at all. I think at the beginning, I thought I was afraid that people would think that if I called myself a psychic, that means that I'm all knowing. I was afraid that was kind of the energy around that. And now it's more open, and people are more aware that that everything is energy, and that to be psychic is to be in tune. And so when I call myself intuitive life coach, it's really kind of encompassing everything: energy, chakras, connection with source, God, but from this place of knowing that I am not in control, that I do not know everything, but that my intention is always to be the messenger and to be a divine guide.
Wow, that I'm gonna go back and like extract that part out, because for me that's the perfect definition also of what it means to be a co-creator. Like we co-create with the universe, with spirit, with God, but God is we're also part of that whole existence where you have all this unlimited amount of resources and knowledge and all that, and you don't have to know it all. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to. You just tap into, or keep yourself tapped in, and then your life can be lived that way. How do we do this? Give me some examples of like the beginning processes around how do we start living intuitively?
So the first thing is, it's kind of a breaking down of this desire, again, to be in control, this desire to know everything, this desire to always analyze everything, this desire to assume. But because to live your life from an intuitive place is intuitive flow. That means that you're not going to know what you're going to say before you say it. And usually if you have a lot of mental chatter going on, then you have a disconnect between your heart and what you're going to say, because you're overthinking the process. Whereas when we are in an intuitive flow, it is just something that you just get. It's like if you ever listen to the most beautiful piece of music and then you're dancing, you're not thinking about how you're going to dance. You're just flowing with the rhythm of the music. And I think to be an intuitive, or to live your life from an intuitive place, you are constantly flowing with the rhythm of life. And as soon as you get into this resistance, then you block yourself from this beautiful divine guidance of this fear of, I have to know what's going to happen. Sometimes these challenges come into our life for a reason. And if our human mind knew, in 30 days, you're going to get hit with this major lesson or challenge, we would avoid it. But to avoid our challenges is to avoid our growth. So it's about not knowing, but flowing, right?
Ooh, I love that. Wait, say that one more time. I want to make sure that people hear that one.
So that's the other thing, is whenever I talk, sometimes I don't remember what I said.
You said not knowing, but flowing. That is, yes, absolutely. And we were just talking offline about this, where again, the perfect example of, we are human beings, we're spiritual beings living a human experience, right? Not the other way around, where we're kind of bolting the spirituality, or to use your words, bolting on the intuitiveness onto the human thing, because then you say, like we were saying, the ego, earth guide only, as some friends of mine call it, takes over and is in charge, and life is binary at that point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so what does it mean to not be in charge? What does it
Right.
What does it mean to just not have control over something? Does it mean that you're losing control, or does it mean that you surrender to that higher power of you? And that's when, living your life from the place that everything that I need is going to come to me the moment I need it. Just trusting one moment from the next, I think, is
Right.
living from an intuitive place. But it's unrealistic to think we can always be in that, because we can't, I always say I feel like I'm in this connect disconnect war with myself, and especially in 2020, it was really a big disconnect for me, and something that was hard for me because I was more here. I was more in my fear. I was more in my what ifs. I was more in my prepare for the worst case scenario.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that listen, everybody, even for me, 2020 was like graduate level studies in staying grounded and centered in exactly what Kelly's talking about. And as she was saying, for you, Kelly, I mean, it's even difficult for you because of, I mean, this past year has been a huge challenge for a lot of people, not including just personally for themselves, but then the grief and all the things that were going. People were making transitions all over the place. I mean, over 500,000 going to 600,000 people, and so tell me about that experience for you, and some of the techniques that you were using to keep yourself in this space of intuitiveness.
So the feeling of being disconnected. So I think the best way I can explain is probably to ask you a question too, because for me, I felt like I couldn't. I got to this place where I just didn't. I was overly feeling everything, and a very sensitive person probably feel everything. Like you get to the point, do you shut it all down? Do you turn off the TV? Do you stop watching things? And for me, because I am always feeling and feeling, that's how I navigate the world, feel everything. And if you don't, and that's the only way I know how, but it's like if I'm just feeling all the time, and at this time where everyone is feeling so much fear and so much uncertainty, then we can go into kind of a downward spiral. So I had to get to a place where I just shut it all off. Like I had to stop looking at the news, I had to stop looking at the everything, and I had to just go into meditation and prayer, and then that would last for a little while, and then I'd go back to it. Because we have to know what's going on, and we have to be aware. But because I think of just the uncertainty of everything, it brought me into a new level of surrender.
Wow. Wow. And it's funny. I know for me, when I think about, after these many years of the meaning of surrender for me is not that we don't do anything, right? Being of surrender is in of itself an action, right? And I don't know what it is. Well, I don't know what it is for you, but for me, it's I am acknowledging that though I am a spiritual being living a human experience, that I am not all knowing, I am not all seeing, and that I have to go into my own faith around surrendering to the divine presence and the divine energy and the divine timing around everything that's happening in this moment, and then make the ask through the prayer, right? Where help guide me through this process, God, universe, spirit, however you're going to do it, to what is the next thing for me to do? What surrender feel like, and what does that look like for you?
Exactly what you just said. Like you just said it so beautifully. It's just surrendering to this absolute unwavering faith that everything is going to be okay. We come back to that everything is happening for a reason thing. And I think in 2020, especially now looking back, we can see that as it was it's a huge, massive healing collectively, and a unity energy. And to see that energy kind of come together, where we are starting to see everything like work together, and everything is starting to that be more unified, and so a lot of beautiful things and people coming together. But we tend
Right.
to look at only the things that are scaring us at the time, or fearful, or the things that aren't fair. But when we
Man.
look back, we think, wow, there is a divine plan here.
Yeah, absolutely. Then there always is, right? I mean, and that's in part what we are surrendering to, and that we're finding that faith, right? Because faith is a real thing, everybody. I mean, it's a real thing. And that as you go into this intuitiveness that Kelly's describing, and that she's dedicated her life to, that faith grows and miracles happen, become like the normality of your life. That you wake up and every day is a miracle. Like, I look back now on 2020 and I feel so blessed.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I have a home. Though I might have lost people who were close to me, the people who were close to me were in the energetic position where they were able to go within and say, no, I'm not ready to leave. I'm still here. So, work and all of this. I mean, so, that's another part of this. We do go through challenges like we did this past year. And I love that you acknowledge that in your intuitive life coaching oracle cards, that challenges that we experience, that being afraid of it is actually withholding love from ourselves, right? And for you, can you describe for our audience, what is the dark night of the soul?
So that is actually a term that was coined by Carl Jung. Did I say his name right? But when I meditated on it, I really came into this awareness that it is it's an energy of losing yourself so that you can find yourself. So you're going into everything you're not. You're exploring your shadow self. You're exploring the illusion of the false self, and it feels so real, and separation feels so real, and you feel so alone, and you just feel so damaged, even, like you're not good enough, you're not lovable, you're not. It's the energy of just getting to the point where you really feel all the things you're trying so hard not to feel, the shadow parts of ourselves.
Wow.
And once you come out of it, it's this, I said this the other day, and kind of it's like you find the light from within you and you turn it on. A lot of people ask me, well, how do you do that? How do you find the light from within you and turn it on? And that isn't a question I can answer. It's something that happens to each individual on their own path or on their own journey.
Right.
All I can say is that once you bring awareness to this part of yourself, it will happen. And like you said, everything shifts. The way you see things shift. It's like you go outside and you can feel the energy of the trees. You can feel the energy of the flowers. Like the sky looks different. When you're talking to someone, you feel them, you feel their essence. You feel it's a different way of I don't know, experiencing life from the place of being closed to having this kind of a heart opening.
I love it. I love the way that you just described that. I know that you kind of opened up a little bit in the book about it. I had a passage here that I was going to read. I experienced a dark night of the soul at a time when my life was no longer working. I was not happy with the way things were. I was searching for something I could not put into words. Something was missing. And I would soon discover that something was my authentic self-expression. Wow. What was your dark night of the soul? Can you give us a little bit about that?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Try to put it into words, but it started out when I was pregnant. So I think
Mm.
that these can last for cycles even, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Going on this is spiritual awakening. The dark night of the soul is a part of the spiritual awakening, and it could last for a while, and it's a cycle, kind of like the hero's journey. And the beginning of mine was when I was pregnant with my daughter and I was really sick. I had the kind of sickness where I projectile vomited like every single
Wow.
it was a
Wow.
lot. It wasn't just morning sickness, and it was from the time I
Wow.
woke up till the time I went to sleep. And then there was one night when I actually passed out, because I was having that for so long, for so many hours. And then my husband picked me up, he cleaned me up, and then I cried myself to sleep. And before I went to sleep, I said a prayer. I said,
Mm.
"Dear God, please help me make it through this. Why is this happening? What, I don't think I have the strength," because I was getting ready to lose my job at the time because I couldn't even go to work. It was like everything was just kind of falling apart.
Right,
So
right.
I wasn't even far enough along on my pregnancy to know if I was having a girl or a boy. And I went to sleep that night and I had a dream, and I saw my life 4 years ahead. I saw a house that we would be living in. I saw my daughter. I could see her curly blonde hair and her beautiful blue eyes. And I had dark brown hair. So to see her, I woke up and I told my husband, I was like, "We're having a baby girl." And he's like, "How do you know? We haven't had the ultrasound." I was like, "Well, I saw her and I saw our future house." And, as time went by, because
Wow.
I saw her at 4 years old, as time went by, I went through depression, and then that year came, the 4 year came, where the magic of that dream was kind of had faded by then.
Mm.
But the day that the memory of that dream came back to me was at her fourth birthday party, and everything was exactly how I had experienced it in that dream.
Wow.
The house, the way she looked, the people that were there, and I had kind of an out of body experience.
Mm, mm.
And after that, and it was always this fear of, "Oh, I'm going crazy, like, what's happening?" But after that, that's when I knew that I could no longer deny that I'm a very spiritual person, that is the main thing that matters to me. That is what I am here for, just like you, to connect with people, to
Yeah.
understand the depths of our emotions and all of
Mhm.
that. So
Mhm.
after that
Mhm.
happened, I couldn't work the 9 to 5 job that I felt like I had to work. So I started quitting my jobs. I just stopped trying to do what I thought I had to do and started living from a place of what I knew my soul was calling me to do.
Wow. You kind of foreshadow my next question, which was going to be related to that, but I'll ask a slightly different question and then I'll go to that. What is the word soul mean for you?
So, um, when I sit with the energy of the word soul, it is my the essence of all that I am. Like I can't put it into words. It is the essence of all that I am, that I have been here multiple times, that I have been both male and female in past lives, that I have been that I have lived many different lifetimes, that it
Mm.
is it is a part of me that is connected to all that is and that is infinite.
Wow. Wow. Do you think or do you feel, because and when I say think, I mean higher mind think, everybody. Do you think and feel that when you came out of this specific dark night of the soul, because everybody, I call them wilderness walks.
Mhm.
You know,
I
Jesus
love
went out into wilderness for 40 days, 40 nights and came back and was, had this revelation and was even deeper grounded spiritually. Um, do you think that was the conduit that got you to connect with your soul at this level, and that it was kind of like a domino effect after that?
So let's say it again. Like,
So
do I?
at this point, when you had this experience, this challenge that you're calling a dark a night of the soul, because we all have, we'll have different dark nights of the soul, maybe at different levels, maybe in different intensities.
Yeah.
But for this specific one, it seems like this was one that was very powerful for you and transformational for you. Do you feel as though, I'll word this different. Do you feel as though this was maybe the first time that you had a deep, deep connection with your authentic self, which is your soul?
This is the time when I think there was elements of it throughout my entire life,
Mm-hmm.
like that would come in,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't really, you would just, been a part of who you are and it's always there, but you don't recognize it or you deny it. But at this particular time, it was just this surrender again. It was, you hit almost a place of rock bottom, like a feeling of there is nowhere to go from here. Like,
Right.
and then
Right.
it's just this letting go of the unknown, letting go of the fear of when you step out as an intuitive healer or whatever it is, that I chose to do. Are people going to be like, who does she think she is? Or she's crazy, or, does she think she's a saint because she's also a hot mess? Like, what all this fear of I'm not good enough, I've made mistakes. Who do I think I am? It just got to this place where it was just okay. Because I think the dark night of the soul is coming into this new level of self-love as well. Letting go of the parts of yourself that you're ashamed of or in fear of or that you've rejected your whole life and just embracing it. Embracing the beauty in all of your flaws and your uniqueness.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Part of your work today, or I should say a big part of your work today, is intuitive life coaching. And I want to talk just a little bit about this. I don't want to give everything away because everybody got to go out and get the cards. You got to go out and research and talk with Kelly specifically because she's wonderful. And she will help you change your life. You put in here the journey, card 54, which is a phenomenal card, by the way. Every challenge has a hidden gift inside. These gifts give us strength, open our minds, and reveal a different perspective, the necessary ingredients for creating a new reality for ourselves. It's so funny how we're socialized into believing that our gift is a job, an education, our friends, whatever that is, with that, and it comes from our parents where they're trying to protect us from not being happy. And so all these things, in Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, she talks about that she was living the check the boxes thing, right? And that when she checked the last box, she would be happy. And she found out that, no, I'm okay, but I'm not like ecstatic. I'm not like, for you, when you're doing your life coaching, your intuitive life coaching, and I guess these are two questions. First is, what is the typical experience about your client when they first are starting the process with you about living their life intuitively? Like, what's the first kind of typical, quote unquote, typical response? Because I'm sure there's probably one or two, right, that are like typical.
Yeah, well, people come see me for different reasons. I think sometimes people come to me to help like develop their intuitive abilities, but a lot of times people come to me to help them tap into their true self and to like release the emotional blocks that pain from the past, to release the fear and to gain clarity because they are already getting the messages. I always say a genuine intuitive reader or a genuine psychic reader, they're going to give you the messages that you've been getting from spirit all the time already. Like they're going to say something and you're going to be like, oh, I just got that in my head yesterday, or I felt that in my soul, in my heart. Like, and it will reign true for you because you will have kind of this feeling of, it's like a butterflies, or like, you're gonna have like the chills, and you're gonna know.
Right.
I think going through the process of having a person kind of give you back the messages that you've already been getting from a place of just complete, holding space and letting spirit speak to you from a place of complete unconditional love. It gives you the ability to trust yourself, because that's what intuition is all about. It's like you would have
Yes.
gotten the same message,
Yes.
or have gotten the same message, but
Yes.
you didn't trust it. And now you're starting to hone in on, oh, okay, I got that message, and this is how I received it, and this is what it felt like. And I think it's different for everyone,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how you
Mm-hmm.
receive messages.
Right. Right.
But also, it's like again, I always go back to helping people like understand this heart opening process, or working with their higher self to give messages to their human self.
What's it like when you see people shift? I mean, um, it must be incredible for you to see this and witness it for you. So what does that feel and look like for you?
I feel I feel like the moment I meet someone, I see who they are. I feel like you're that
Okay.
feel like all you're doing is holding space for them to see it too. So
Gotcha.
if somebody comes and they don't believe in themselves, or they don't love themselves, or they're not sure, what their path is, and you hold space, and then and the shift looks like, oh, they see it now. They feel it now. They
Gotcha.
believe in themselves. They see who they
Gotcha.
really
Gotcha.
are. I
Gotcha.
think I always say to my clients, my greatest gift for you, my greatest wish for you is that you could see in yourself what I see because every single person that comes to you as a healer, you instantly love them and unconditionally before they even
Right.
open your mouth,
Right.
because you're asking to be a
Right.
vehicle for
Right.
spirit to work through you.
I love that. I love that. So you're saying, and this is fabulous, by the way, when they come in, you're already connected to them and their authentic self. You're already connected to that. And that your job is to help them see it through your own process and through their own process. And the best way I can describe it is that you're kind of like dust, cleaning off the dust that they think is there, and letting that dissipate so they can see the truth that's there, because it's always there. We
And
put the barriers up, right? As humans, we put the barriers to not see it and not connect with that part of ourselves.
yeah. And I
Let's
think,
go ahead.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that could be the part of the dark night of the soul sometimes, the beginning of, breaking
Voila.
down of the illusions.
Voila. Yes. There you go. See, everybody, see how it all connects, right? Because I think that's what it's all about too, right? Those moments where we go through wilderness walk or dark night of the soul, however you want to put it, throughout times of our life, that is the ultimate goal, is to clean away all that mental stuff that we put in the way to not see ourselves, and more importantly, love ourselves
Yeah.
from that place. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk to you about the 5 core principles that are in your oracle cards, and you kind of talk, and this is intuitive, living your life intuitively as well. I want to talk to you about those 5 core principles. So we're going to take a short break, everybody, and we'll be right back with more from Intuitive Life Coach Kelly T. Smith.
Soulivity Magazine and Beyond Words Publishing is pleased to announce its latest charitable partner, the National Museum of African American History and Culture. We ask you to join us in supporting this national treasure of memories and truth to stay alive for generations to come.
creating this museum gives us a chance to make manifest the dreams of many generations. We call the lost dream back.
This is a milestone moment not only for the Smithsonian, but for the United States.
The goal of the museum is to make America better, provide opportunities for us to be made better by the past, and for us to move towards a future where race will always matter. They will find that those ideals are only met through sacrifice and struggle and a belief in a better day.
This place is more than a building. It is a dream come true.
History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived.
And by knowing this other story, we better understand ourselves and each other. I, too, am American.
We ask you to join us in supporting this national treasure of memories and truth to stay alive for generations to come. Join Soulivity Magazine and Beyond Words Publishing for another Truth and Power event. Don't miss our next event celebrating International Women's Month on March 20th at 2 p.m. We'll see you then.
And welcome back to Soulivity Live, everyone. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and we are back with our special guest, Kelly T. Smith. Hey, Kelly.
Hello.
We are talking about living your life intuitively. And she has these fabulous oracle cards that you can get from Beyond Words Publishing about living your life intuitively. Intuitive Life Coaching Oracle Cards by our own Kelly T. Smith. We left off where I was going to talk about these 5 core principles that are within the Oracle deck. But my guess is these are also things that you take your clients through in terms of the core principles about living your life intuitively. And I wanted to make sure that we got these in. Again, people, go out and buy the cards. Go out and buy the cards so you can read more about this. But I want to get this in because this is understanding this is still part of the beginning and part of the journey that even you and I, Kelly, I mean, I was reading through this and I was like, yeah, I need to make sure that I'm on an ongoing basis reminding myself and immersing myself in the knowledge, in the truth, in the knowledge around how God works in our life, how the universe works in our life, how spirit flows through our life. The first one is manifesting, which is always a fun one. I'm glad you had that as the first one. Tell us about manifestation and living your life intuitively. Why did you have that as the first core principle?
Because I think that coming into this awareness or spiritual awakening, you realize that your thoughts, feelings, and belief systems create your reality. Like to actually come into the experience of that. We're told that all the time, and we know all about the law of attraction and manifesting. But when you've come into a place of believing and accepting and living your life from that place, you don't feel like things are happening to you as much as you feel like things are happening through you, through your energy, through your belief system, through your So for me, manifesting is like, we all go through this wanting to create all of these things. Like, we want a new house, we want a new car, we want more money. But for me, manifesting from the place of our soul is something completely different, because we're in alignment. I feel like we have a harder time manifesting things that aren't in alignment with our soul, which is why a lot of people might say, oh, that doesn't work. It doesn't work until you come into an acceptance and a belief system of first of all, how it works, who you are, what is important for you to create or manifest from a soul level.
Wow.
But can I share a manifesting story? Do we have time?
Yeah, go for it. Of course we got time. We'll make
and of
time.
course we can create, material things too. But so when my kids were younger, and it was at a time when we didn't have enough money for Christmas presents, and they asked Santa Claus to bring them the Wii, the Wii for Christmas, and they were little. So my husband was so upset, because this is when I was going through in between jobs and going to school to do this, and so he was like, they want a Wii. We can't disappoint them. Santa Claus was bring them that. And it was if you're a parent, you can't get your child what they're asking for Christmas. It's a pretty upsetting thing, right?
Yeah.
So I said, no, we are going to manifest it. We are going to visualize it. We are going to create it. And my husband didn't really understand or believe in that at this time, but that was okay, because I did. So, and I feel, we worked together. We visualized, like every night we would visualize them opening that present, just opening it, and how much joy. And we would get so excited. We would just feel they're opening up the presents. And a week later he went to work. And at the time he worked for a beverage company. He was a delivery driver. And they were telling all the staff, if you sell this many cases of this beverage, you are going to win the Wii. So he comes home and he's like, oh, we have a promotion. One person, if they sell this many cases by this time, is going to win the Wii. And this came a week after we were visualizing. So we already knew. He's like, that's ours. Like that. Like it's a like vibrational match. You called that in. So of course he was the one who sold the most cases, and we got the Wii. And that the kids had that. And I have so many examples of this, because it's not it's sometimes we get into this energy of forcing our will, and then we doubt it, and then we pull back, and then we think we have to take action. And a lot of people say that's why it doesn't work, because people are sitting around waiting for the miracles to happen. But really, the miracles do happen, and you will have to take inspired action,
right? Like
my husband did. When he got the call, that was the universe saying, hey, we're giving you a Wii. Your action step is sell the most cases. Exactly.
And that even in that action, there's support and guidance and all that. And that this can be a happier, peaceful, more joyous, blissful experience for you to go from here to there and then get the Wii. I mean, It's so funny, because God does have a sense of humor. That's God having a sense of humor. You walk in there and like, here's the Wii for you. Here. The next one is relationship healing. Woo! You say this is because every relationship challenge has the potential to be our greatest teacher. Ain't that the truth? Tell us a little bit more about that in terms of connecting the dots to living our life intuitively.
I will say, when I was going through my spiritual awakening, the most inspirational thing I've ever read came from Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. She talks about how the energy that you are sending to someone is actually going to be how they treat you. So it's like, if you're angry or expecting someone to be angry at you or whatever, you're radiating that energy out. So we have to learn that we're always reflecting back to ourselves. That person that we're talking to is reflecting, picking up on our signal of what we're sending out, and then they're doing the same. So we're just this mirror.
Yeah.
And at some point, if someone stops and says, I'm willing to just be neutral, to just be present, to just send love, and really send love, not from a place of love and light, but from a place of radiating, like, that place of, I love you, I see you, and I'm just going to hold space for you. You will notice how the dynamic between you will shift. It's amazing. I always say that when we send people love, one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to completely leave our life if they're not a vibrational match, or all of a sudden the shift is going to take place, and there's going to be healing and a deeper understanding of how to connect.
Those relationships are so important because they reinforce that we are not alone, that we're all connected, and that connection is a representation of the total and constant in the universe, which is love, right? Capital L. So everybody, just to be clear, I don't use unconditional in front of love anymore. I just say love because that's what love is. It's unconditional.
That's beautiful.
Thank you for that, by the way. Number 3, spiritual development, which is so, I think this one's really good. I think sometimes people think that, well, all this is spiritual development. Yeah, it is, but you're talking about something specific. Tell us about what you mean by that spiritual development.
Yeah. I'm going to look at my... so many things. So it's like spiritual development in regards to, I talk a lot about inner work because, if you're trying to connect and you're trying to connect to source and you're trying to, deepen your relationships around you, deepen your relationship with yourself, you have to do the inner work. And the inner work is being able to look at the parts of yourself that you might be afraid to look at. Being able to forgive yourself for things that you did that you wouldn't do now, but you did in the past, because you're in this constant evolution, this constant spiritual growth. Yeah. Just being able to 100% come into a place of doing the inner work, and the spiritual development part is we just keep elevating in levels of consciousness as we do the inner work. And we get to this place where we're seeing everything from a higher perspective. Not to say that we don't come back down at some point and then we hit rock bottom and start all over again, because that's part of life. It's a constant evolution, constant spiritual development, understanding, that everything is energy, that we are energy, that, being more aware of the energy we're sending out, and being more aware of what's going on in our inner world.
Wow. I love that. So everybody got it. So though generally speaking, everything that we're talking about is spiritual development, what you're talking about specifically is the inner work stuff that we have to do on a consistent, ongoing basis, where we're, a challenge comes our way and we have to look within. What does this mean for me? Right? Mm-hmm. What am I here? What is this here for me to learn from? Right? And then we grow. And one of my dear friends, Reverend Howard Caesar, would always talk about the beautiful spiral upward, right? That we're spiraling upward in terms of consciousness, the deeper that we go in ourselves and connecting with spirit. The fourth one. You just
did that, Brian. You brought me into such a state of peace.
Well, that's what I do. Another one is a companion to the spiritual development is emotional blocks and shifts in perception. So I know that people may think that they're two different things, but they're actually like two sides of the same coin, right? Tell us a little bit about emotional blocks and shifts in perception and what that means to living our life intuitively.
Yeah. So when I say emotional blocks, it's really like let's say we had a really horrible situation in life and became this energy that's like dormant energy that stays in our heart. But we can't see it but now we have to navigate around it. And everything we're trying not to recreate the same thing. So we're creating all these systems in place, all to avoid this one big block that stems from something humiliating that happened, or something upsetting that happened, or a rejection that happened. So it's an emotional dormant energy that could be woken up at any moment that you have a similar situation, or you remember someone, you see a person that brings that back up in you. So it blocks you, because now you're not using the fullest capacity of your heart energy. You're constantly trying to put systems in place to keep it from happening again.
Right.
You can't be authentic.
Right.
So
I love that.
what we do, we go deep into the emotional energy of just being able to release it, to feel. I always say, I have a new deck coming out in August, and one of the things that I channeled that came through is that you have to feel it to heal it, to heal this emotional wound. Like it's a feeling, and then it comes up and it moves out.
Right.
And it's not that simple, I mean, for some people, but as we go deeper into connecting with our emotions and being okay with it starts to unfold. It starts off as a wound, but then it unfolds, like Oprah says, into a wisdom, right?
Right. Into wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And that we still have the wisdom that we had before, but you grow into it. You take a leap into wisdom, because you always have to go through a growth opportunity to gain the wisdom and come from the experience of it all. The last one, I love the last one, because it's like the anchor, right, for everything. And it's prayer and surrender. It goes to what we were talking about in the first segment around that. But I want you to kind of go a little deeper and show the connection between those two for you, because the book has it written so beautifully. What is prayer and surrender when we are being intuitive?
So I feel like prayer kind of ties into everything. It's even manifesting, because for me, when I'm manifesting, I use affirmative prayer. I'm so thankful now that, but prayer is asking, directing energy. It's directing energy, and then you're moving into unwavering faith. And through prayer, you open up to the higher power, to God's source, to be able to work through you. And so the surrendering is, I don't have to do this myself. I can trust that I am safe. I can trust that it's that safety net again, right? So saying a prayer, like I told you at the beginning, when I said a prayer and then I fell asleep, and then I had a dream of 4 years in the future, like that is, I can't even put energy, I can't even put words to it, how often that will happen to me when I pray. I will never not pray. Like, prayer is such an integral part of my life and how I connect, and not from a religious place, but from a place of spirituality. And it's like calling up spirit, God, the universe on the phone, like having that talk and then opening up and listening. So when we say the prayer, the next step is, I'm going to now let God answer me. I'm going to listen. I'm going to be still.
Wow. It's funny, and it's funny in a humorous way, but funny in a spiritual way. My favorite prayer is help.
Yeah.
And I take a clue from Iyanla Vanzant on it, where and I believe it's higher energetic loving presence. Right? I'm saying help. So I'm releasing, like you were just talking, that I'm into my small mind, smaller, lowercase mind, trying to control or trying to figure out everything. And I release that and I say help. And I go into the faith again. We're talking about the faith and living your life intuitively, having the knowingness that your highest and greatest good will be served. And you just let it go. And it's so important. I find myself saying help more often than not, because it's okay. It's like, we all need help. We all need support. We all need to live our lives from a place that we're connected with with something that we are a part of and that is greater than us, that can handle anything that we're going through. And I sincerely appreciate you being of service in this way, because it's so vitally necessary, because you're doing the life coach, people being a life coach is an important step for people to get somebody to do life coaching. But you're taking it a step further and saying, let's do this intuitively. Let's connect to your higher self, to who you want to be, and not to who you are as a being, I should say, and letting that be your guide and for your journey that happens after that. So thank you so much for being that person.
You too.
Hey, I wasn't fishing. I
could listen to you talk all day.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. So Kelly, thank you for being on Soulivity Live. Would you come back after the new cards are out?
Love that.
Yes.
After the what?
After the new cards are out. You said in August.
Yeah, the Guiding Light is coming out this summer, August 31st.
Yes. Maybe we can get Beyond Words to debut them here.
Yeah.
I'll try to work that out. The fix is in. But no, thanks for being here, and I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
See, I told you it was going to be a powerful show today. Listen, before we get out of here, I want to remind you that coming up on March 20th, as we celebrate International Women's Day and Women's History Month, about our Next Truth and Power event, celebrating women around the world. It's going to be awesome. Please remember to save the date by visiting our YouTube channel at youtube.com/C/Soulivity Magazine. You can set a reminder while you're there, or you can go to our Facebook channel and also set a reminder. And speaking of connecting, please follow us on social media. You'll be able to learn about upcoming shows and events, and of course, our amazing giveaways. And speaking of giveaways, maybe you want to check out our new Go Shop. We feature vendors from across the globe selling inspirational products for your soul. From books to beauty items, we got something for you. So before we get out of here, I want to once again thank our guest for today, Kelly T. Smith, for being on Soulivity Live today. And of course, until next time, on behalf of Kelly and myself, this is Brian Wesley Johnson, wishing you a full life of passion, purpose, and high quality living. Bye now. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Soulivity Live.
Hey, my sister, how are you?
It's wine, right? Yeah. we might need some more wine for this.
So let's get this party started, y'all.
Hey, my sister, mademoiselle.
That is the most amazing introduction I have ever heard.
Oh.
Of myself and Madison, Brian Wesley Johnson, thank you for joining us on Saturday morning. A life full of passion, purpose, and high quality living. See you next time.